Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on artificial intelligence. Obviously, this is a very highly used, overhyped term. So in this webinar, we'll try to dissect and to elaborate on what are actually the strategies of adopting artificial intelligence in our companies. We are very focused on SAP Business One. Okay, as you know, we are a technical partner for Business One. So we'll both introduce concepts that are generic or classical in nature, but then we'll quickly adapt them to Business One context and to better depict what kind of benefit we can draw from AI. Okay, we'll try to avoid to sell specific products or specific implementations, because we believe AI is more of a strategy than a product. Okay, the product is the last element in the chain, while the most important one is actually the strategy. How should you adopt AI in your company? So having made that introduction, let me also introduce myself. My name is Vladimir Vadeanu. Here at Entitec, basically we are a company of tech services for everything related to Business One, which means 360 services from system admin, installation, upgrade, maintenance, monitoring of Business One systems, to developing Fiori applications. So basically the loosely coupled applications that our good SAP Fiori framework provides. Then to analytics, business intelligence part. And the fourth pillar, which obviously we have been developing over the last years, is the one of the artificial intelligence. I wouldn't even position it as a fourth pillar, because it's actually the very basis of everything. It should permeate through all the operations of Business One. We will see in this webinar that AI is not something, it's not a departmental thing. It's not a topic that is enclosed in a department of the company, but is rather a topic that should permeate through all the areas of the company, through all the departments, okay, both technical, non-technical, both normal operations and also the medium management and upper management of the company. AI should actually be a language that is adopted by everyone in the company, so that they all speak, everybody in the company speaks this language. Without this, we really believe that the full benefit of AI cannot be accomplished if you just confine it to a certain department. Cool. So let's kickstart this. We're in a context where, for the first time in history, actually, the AI is now starting to emulate, but at least in a manner that's at least superior to that of most human beings. Okay, we all know about ChatGPT 2 years ago. Okay, AI, obviously, it's not a technology that was born 2 years ago. It was a technology that was invented decades ago. But the advancements in technical infrastructure and also in geopolitical terms, in geopolitical scenarios, okay, so these context was able to produce finally an outbreaking result like the one we saw 2 years ago with ChatGPT. Okay, that is in the obviously in the historical sense. So how do we envision actually an AI in a company that uses SAP Business One? That's what we will be talking about in this webinar. Let's start off with just some tips on entrepreneurs, okay, on how to adopt AI in Business One. First of all, evaluate the impact of AI. All right, that can depend sector by sector, okay, but it's still, again, like we said, it should be adopted throughout all the levels of the company in the enterprise. Businesses really need to understand and integrate the AI in order to remain competitive and innovative at all levels. So starting from the very bottom to the very top, AI should be really a strategy, a language shared throughout the company, right? What would be in our, obviously in our acceptance of this? What would be the key steps for adopting AI? So first of all, a clear goal setting. It's not a topic that you can, for example, if we remember some years ago, when business intelligence was first introduced in a mass scale, everyone produced analytical reports. Some were useful, some were not useful, but they were there. Everyone was promoting them as the next thing. Okay, AI is not something that you can start with a very blanket approach, with a very standard approach. Actually, each company should define its own goals, okay, which are, the problems to be solved with AI. That's the very first step, right? Then also the resource assessment. So how much am I willing to invest? Okay, what's the budget I would like to do to invest in the adoption of AI, which is both tooling, so buying subscriptions or whatever, but also the staffing needed for me to be able to promote AI internally. Okay, we'll see that AI is not just like a product that you buy, you apply, and that's it. It's actually like the adoption of a new ERP. You need an IT manager, you need an internal know-how on that particular technology that can act as a liaison between external consultants, which are industry experts, and internal business processes. So that should be also calculated from the very beginning. What's the budget, right? Then comes the technology selection. So once I define the goals and I evaluate my budget, then I can go deeper into choosing the right technology. Okay? So I shouldn't be just starting from the very first with, there is Copilot, there is Gemini, there is Notebook LM, there are lots of various technologies available, but I should actually be first goal setting, doing my budget, and then choosing the right technology for me based on what I chose earlier. And at the very end, the staff training. Okay, as we said, if we don't train our staff to the new AI way of thinking, we are not gaining the full advantage of that. And here we'll send you this presentation at the end of the webinar, of course. Here we have two links from our resource knowledge library. All right. So the first one is a very easy to digest YouTube channel. Probably some of you already know our AI, Learn Business One with Artificial Intelligence. Yeah, for now it is in Italian, but we're also going to start publishing in English. You'll see here various formats. You'll see here both, the classical how-tos, but also the podcast ones, which are more recent. And these actually are also generated via artificial intelligence. So you'll see also how this is put in action from us. So we try to eat our own dog food, as we say. And also here you'll see, for example, these are trainings, okay, or web presentations created with AI. This is created with Google Gemini Gems, okay, and a bit later in the webinar, I'll let Alberto to also explain this, the process of creating these, how these were created. And, when you think of how can I present AI to a company, you need always to present steps, right? So step one is how to train to create.